even deep into my TMS success story, I am still uncovering fears that have been long standing, that came way before my severe onset of symptoms in 2024. And one of them is the freaking footwear. It's the freaking footwear. It's so silly now. It's so ridiculous now, but it still hangs on to me. I'm still getting there because I want to be authentic and honest and true with you guys. This is the type of stuff that like I can still get hung up on now, and I have made a commitment to myself and getting over in this like next stage of my recovery. So foot pain was a thing for a long time. It first happened like probably in my late 20s and continued on into my 30s and early 40s when it became really, really severe. And in those last few years, I started to really like pare down the number of shoes that I could wear that would not cause pain. And it started like, I need to wear these specific running shoes because those are not going to cause pain. I mean, that's like every runner has that thing. So that wasn't like unusual. And then it became like back when I was working in an office, like I would wear heels in the office, but like walking from like the parking garage to my office, I would like make sure that I was like wearing sneakers or I was wearing winter boots. And then I would change because I was like, it's not good for me to really be like walking in heels or kind of like walking in these like cute, like fancy shoes because like that's going to hurt my feet. And like that walk is just long enough for it to like upset me, because the fear was the pain making it so I could not run, because running was my favorite thing in the universe. Is anyone shocked? It still is. And especially not being able to walk. Not being able to walk has been a massive fear for like my entire life. And I hate to even say it because I almost feel like I'm going to jinx myself because I work that way. My brain works that way. I don't know if it was like Christopher Reeve getting paralyzed or whatever, but like being paralyzed and being unable to walk was like always a fear of mine from like way early on. And I took like a whole neuroscience class in my first undergraduate degree that was like about spinal cord injuries. It was a great class. That was probably a bad idea because I think I was already afraid of it by then. And we actually got to see Christopher Reeve speak at MIT. So cool. So cool. But yeah, maybe not so good for somebody with a little bit of like sensory motor OCD and health anxiety, even though I didn't have it back then. It wasn't like it is now. I digress. So pain, making me not being able to run and not being able to walk was like a huge fear of mine, like my biggest fear, because like that was just how I coped. That's how I got out all my stress, especially as I got older. And if I couldn't do those two things, then I knew emotionally I was gonna be a train wreck, and I was gonna be like restless and like crawling up the walls and like really unhappy and really irritable and so stressed out to the max. And it only got worse during COVID. And we can certainly argue that like the responsibility years were already like increasing then. And if you've read Dr. Sarno, you know a lot of people with like TMS, they're in the responsibility years of like, you know, family and career and sometimes aging parents and things like that. And it just builds and builds and builds. So sure, that was happening as I got older. And then COVID hit. And COVID allowed me to be a bad girl. Because COVID meant I was not working in the hospital anymore. I started working from home. And that meant that I didn't have to wear heels or fancy work shoes anymore. So because I was just on screen and like people could only see like basically my torso and my head, like I didn't have to wear shoes, right? But at that point, the pain was so bad, I could not walk around my house barefoot, especially like going up and down stairs. It caused a lot of foot pain. So I had these slippers that were like this recovery shoe brand, but like slippers for the house. So they had like a sole and they were like comfortable and they didn't cause me pain. So that's like what I wore around the house. And then eventually became, not only can I only wear this like specific pair of running shoes or like model of running shoes to run, but like I can only wear that also to walk. So like I would get a new pair of shoes, I would like run it into the ground, and then when it was like retired and I shouldn't really be running in it anymore because like the soles of it are toast and it's like not remotely cushiony anymore, I would walk in them. I mean, even like flip-flops were gone at this point. Like all other shoes were really gone at this point. So even when I went on vacation, like went to the pool, like I wasn't even comfortable walking around in flip-flops. Like I remember when we were here at Disney a couple of years ago, this was before TMS and before I had my foot surgery, like we went to a water park and I couldn't even walk with the flip-flops. Like my pain was so bad and I couldn't walk barefoot. It was a mess. Like I couldn't even like walk around the park, and I'm not gonna wear like running shoes to a freaking water park. So the shoe thing was like a large part of why I got my foot surgery, because I had osteoarthritis on my third metatarsal on my left foot. And I could get by with my particular running shoes and doing shoe inserts, but I'm like, this is like really ridiculous. Like I should be able to wear like different pairs of shoes like in my life. And also too, obviously the pain was increasing. So like it would go away, you know, sometimes, but it would come back severely, and it came on full force before my last marathon, which now I know why that happened, because of the anticipation anxiety and because that's how flares happen. But either way, I didn't know about that at the time. So the shoe thing has always been a huge fear and a huge limiting factor. That's like, really, I know it's shoes, but it's really made my world like really small. So after my foot surgery, like I did buy like a different pair of shoes, but it was like basically the same like model as like my running shoes. It was just like a little more cushiony because I was recovering from foot surgery. So I then had like my running shoes, and then I had these like new pairs of shoes that I wear, my new walking shoes. Great. I really like expanded my world there. They were both like the same, and they were like black, and it really wasn't different at all. But that was like the most that I was comfortable doing at the time. And once I discovered TMS, and once that I learned things like for other people with back pain, that like a chair is not inherently dangerous. Like the chair does not cause back pain. Your bed or unsupportive mattress does not cause back pain. I was like, this applies to shoes too. Like this is the same thing. Like shoes are not inherently dangerous. The shoes are not causing my foot pain. So this was always going to be a challenge for me, and one that I knew like I didn't need to like really tackle like during the first part of my recovery. The first part of my recovery was really getting back into running, because fortunately I had already relearned how to walk at that point before I knew what TMS was. And a flare of being able to basically not walk again was what made me understand that I had TMS. So I got back the walking like pretty quickly with the TMS work, but it really was getting back into the running and back into like the hardcore cardiovascular impact exercise that was going to be like a massive trigger to my pain. I had already had a year back walking, so like I had had so much exposure to that, but like the running I had only done in like little fits and starts, and I knew that that was just going to be like such a higher bar, and I just wasn't ready to start running and then also throwing in like a new triggering pair of shoes. So since I've been running for 14 months, I think now, just about 14 months back running, and I've done all sorts of amazing things. I've done 2 half marathons. I'm back at my old pace. I'm running like most days of the week. Like it's gone fantastic. I'm like, this is the time to tackle the footwear. So that was like one of the things that I like really wanted to tackle moving forward, and especially like moving to Florida, like leaving a lot of that stuff behind in Michigan. So I was like, okay, eventually, like once I kind of get like settled here and get used to the heat and the humidity, I know I'm still babying myself in many ways. Like let's start trying new pairs of shoes. I'm going to share my experience of how that happened with you. And it's pretty amazing because I wasn't even meaning to do this. And sometimes like your recovery can just happen in an instant if you just go for it. I'm looking like this because I'm holding in the tears, and I shouldn't be holding in the tears, but maybe let's get away from the houses. This neighborhood is not used to seeing me cry yet. Wow, okay, I never thought that that was possible. A huge thing when I moved to Florida 2.5 weeks ago was to start wearing different kinds of shoes, because there is nothing wrong with the shoes. The shoes cannot hurt me, but the shoes can still be a trigger to symptoms. And yeah, we are fogging up here because I didn't even mean to go on a run right now. The whole thing is like, I've been wearing new shoes because I had basically been relegated to 2 pairs of shoes for like over 2 years. I have my shoes that I walk in, and I have my shoes that I run in, and they are a very specific brand, and they're like 2 different models of that brand. And so I was like, this is ridiculous. If I'm gonna be somebody who's actually recovered, like, we're gonna wear different shoes, because there's nothing dangerous about shoes. And like, it's not like I'm getting in stiletto high heels. I'm still wearing like running shoes by the same brand. So this is a very low bar for me to expose myself to it, because the trigger of the symptoms is gonna come. So as this lovely pair of purple shoes, I really love them. They're great. My other shoes are, well, my walking shoes are black. They're not fun. So these are like fun walking shoes that I haven't had in a really long time, because I've just had black shoes. And I've done very well in these to walk. And today I went for a walk, and as you can see, I was unprepared. I mean, I wear workout clothes all the time, so I was prepared that way. But I was like, I'm just gonna try to run in these. Like, I can just try. I can stop. So I looked really gimpy at first, which I don't really care. Like, I just have not run in different running shoes for a very, very long time. But then it started going all right. And then around minute 5, my nervous system was like, holy crap, what are we doing? And I was like, oh, and I started to get a little bit more symptoms. So I was like, let's stop and walk. I walked for about 2 minutes, and then I was like, let's try it again. And then I ran for like almost 14 minutes, 1.7 miles. And there were parts of that where my symptoms just went away. My stride just opened up. I was feeling happy. I was feeling so good. And then, it started to come back again. You're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I was like, okay. So I stopped and walked again, maybe barely a minute. And I ran the last 0.7 for a total of a 5K. Sorry about all the cars. We're recording this moment. It's special. Yeah, man. Never thought I'd do that today. Didn't even really think I'd be doing that like 45 minutes ago. Yeah. Ran in shoes that I thought were probably impossible to run in, or I was gonna have to work up to it like way slower, and just did 3.1 miles in them. Accomplished.